Welcome. On this channel, I do unscripted, unedited videos about Linux programming and stuff. Generally, been working on a little client-server multiplayer game. Maybe, sort of, just only a learning project, but it is what I'm working on. Most recently, I had done a bunch of little, prompt engineering with Google Gemini to kind of learn the structure of how I wanted to form the main loop of the game using epoll. And I think I have that worked up into a satisfactory place, kind of have that code set aside. We're going to start to pull it in piece by piece into the existing structure of the game. Still doing a little bit of cleanup. So if we take a look right now, I have let's take a look in the source tree. We have some stuff to clean up here. For example, actually, let's take a look at the makefile. That'll be the best place to start. So there's two targets. There's the server and the client. They'll eventually get better names. But we have a makefile that generates what we need for those two things. We have all the tests in the test folder. Everything works more or less as it is. There's a bunch of artifacts from like old work. This, is not particularly consistent at the moment. And one of the things that I want to do right now is just kind of get it consistent. So for example, let's make sure that we're okay. And one of the things that I'm positive of, and we'll find out if I'm wrong, is that actually, let's take a look at what's in it. Vim source test sorry, is an empty file. That's what I thought. All right. I mean, I didn't know it was empty, but I knew it wasn't relevant. So let's rm source. In fact, it was probably created by kind of like an erroneous makefile target, more likely. Rm source test, so we can get rid of that. Another thing I want to do is I want to get rid of this extra image folder and just move the file we're referencing in the README. So if we take a look at the README, at the top of the README, we have this reference to the image. And if we go look, it is, say, what? Oh, I must never have pushed this. Oh, no, I went and broke my cow say. Let's make sure of that, right? So git push GitHub main. Oh, Vim readme. So if I go over here, okay, so this does look, well, let's start by, I want to grab, where is it? Right there. I want to grab permanent link to that file and then update that. Oh, it was just showing us nothing because it was a bad path. That was why. Okay, so we should see this file if I push it, git add. And so if I come back and go back to main, there we go. So now we're seeing the file. So just kind of cleaning up the project here, and then we're going to really dive into starting to add the code. So coming back to this, rmrf, the image folder, that no longer needs to exist. It is in the dat folder. Removed. Okay, so we got the license, the README. We're all looking good there. Do we have any junk in here? I don't think so. Those are all referenced relevant files. Same in test. Everything's good there, and everything works as intended. Okay, the next step, I want to start to pull in the pieces from the code we experimented with while we were running all those prompts, right? And so the bulk of what we're going to take comes from crap. Now I forget if it's 59. Oh, so I know how to tell. Is it a flat structure? So we have no, this is not the flat one. So 50 is what we want. Do we have a 52 that, let's just check if I have that on disk and not pushed. So that is projects, Linux programming and stuff, CD videos, LSLSH. Right, so there's only 51. So 50 is our reference. So projects, Space Captain. And I think the first thing I want to do is I want to figure out which pieces I can just kind of take over before I even really start working on restructuring the code. In other words, I should be able to, like, for example, let's just go look here. Well, there's actually pieces from multiple places, because if I look at, so that's 50. I'm almost certain that I want to just take this log file more or less. So I'm going to start out by just grabbing the whole thing. Wrong tab. Clear ls vim source log.h. Ooh, that oh no, that was right. I seen the definitions from these ANSI colors, and I thought like it was picking up special characters or something from. Okay, so interesting that I'm I haven't played with this a whole lot. It was generated, and I was like, I can probably keep that. Oh, I like it. Just does, depending on the log level, it just redefines them as. So I got error info debug. Seems good enough. And none. Okay. Right. Okay. So makes sense. What I want to do is I actually just want to test that this works at all, that I can use these. So right now we're defining the log level to 2, which is info. So what I'll do is in source client, I want to include, right? Oops. And then we will do a log info, not login, info So these are variadic macros, and actually I'll show the problem if anybody didn't see the previous video. So kind of a dumb, but it will get the point across. So if we make all, and see, this is going to generate this error because the variadic macros expect some argument to be passed. And what I had decided after doing a little bit of research, until I really feel like making some kind of conditional macro there, which is really ugly, the answer is just to do this when I don't have a macro or when I don't have an argument, right? So now if I run bin client, we're getting our timestamp and info and doing stuff in main, just what we would expect. That is good enough for that. Get status. What do we got? Make clean. And then nothing else to be done. So add all that, git commit, and log.h. So that was super easy. Almost no work to do there. And the next thing I want to look at is, I don't need that. I don't think, I think that the goal is going to be essentially to replicate what's going on here. And since message.h doesn't have I will just take it as is, right? We can take this without change, except for I don't want it from 51. I want it from 50. So we got message h here. 50 is the working code we're going to use. I knew that the logger was self-contained. I probably will be bouncing back and forth between the two just to look at the structure of the code. I won't be taking any of it exactly as is, just using it as input. So vim source message.h. This stuff doesn't belong here. That's clear. But I'm going to end up keeping it. Here, we'll do this. I keep doing that because usually I'm on a wider screen and prefer V-splits, but I have to get using to doing splits here. So let's source main for now. Oops, main don't exist. Split source server. What I was just puzzling about is, so specifically it's port and host that don't belong here. And I think what will happen is that both the server and the client will define those source client because they would end up probably looking different. Certainly the host is going to be different on the client, right? It's going to target the actual URL where the host is at. The server is going to be listening on for connections on specific IP addresses. But I'm going to do this for now. It doesn't, and num workers is clearly just a server thing. So I don't want to lose the values. The code needs it. We'll figure out where it really belongs later. But here is our message code. And The pragma once, I'm assuming, is saying just do these things one time. I'll have to look at that closer later too. But okay, let's just make sure. Make clean. Make. Okay, everything builds, no issues. So we're still doing that good there. Of course, we didn't really do anything. We just defined some structures. Get and add message.h. Okay, that's that. Next, it's going to get more complicated as we go here. Okay, so we're still in 50. Let's collapse 51. Let's what we could probably do. So in 51, it will have created, it will have split these things up, which is what I intended to do. So to some degree, I think what I want to do is kind of compare this code and see what it wrote in each of them. But I, for example, will start with the queue because I can test it. It isn't the main body of the code, and I can test it separately. And actually the same as for signal and actually for worker. The only one that probably gets messy is the network and is the network one. So let's take over these Q server or Q.C and Q.H files, and then vim source Q. Which file was that? That was the C file. Q.C. We'll drop that code in there. Vim. Sorry. Q.H, but I have to grab that. So one of the that won't be like that. That'll be like that. Thinking that through. I was trying to. I think we're fine there. What this ends up looking like, I'm going to primarily test it in. I'm going to use the client code for testing because it's small right now. It doesn't have anything in it. So vim source client. What we're going to end up doing is including Q.C. Does that break any builds? Unknown type, message T in Q.H. So split. If I look at source Q.C, it's saying, hey, I need Q.H. Oh, common log is clearly going to break things. So let's make clean, make clean, make client, bin client. Okay, so unknown in file included from source Q.C, unknown type message T. I misread that. Q.H is needing shit. So here is QC, and it's saying it needs message T. So clearly it needs message.h. So we're still getting unknown type name message T coming from line 10 in q.h. So split e source q.h line 10. But isn't message T being defined right there? Ah, crap, I lost that. Okay. So if I go and look at source message H, I better be careful. I'm using the message types from, I have the message code from the one file. And okay, so let's take a look at the difference between the two. So common message is the code it's referencing. And let's take a look at what we have. So the type def here, it names it as message type T, and here it's called message type. Well, what format do we want to do this with? I want to be consistent. I'm going to go ask the internet. Actually, I'm going to ask Gemini just for giggles. When writing C programs and doing type defs, what is the most common style for type def names? Is it camel case, snake case, Pascal case, or some other style? I have no idea if it's even going to understand this, but it probably will. I think I actually know my preference. I much prefer snake case versus camel case in general. And so, but I think that this is a little verbose, this message type. And so I think it's just going to be message T is what I'm going to end up doing. But hey, what the heck? A good summary of, okay, so while C doesn't enforce, the most common is snake case with dash T. Okay, that was right where I was going. So we agree. Goodbye. So what we want is message underscore T is the name of this type def. And is there a type def enum? So and then well, yeah, I should just the only place it should be defined is so I want to take message type and turn it into message T. And the only place it should, and then we want to take message header and turn that into message header T. Should be good there. Make clean. Make. So we're getting the variadic macro problem from log error in the Q file. Vim source Q. So the answer here again is eventually I'll get tired of typing this and make and I will do the improved macro, but until then okay, so at this point we've added let's take a look at the diff on client C. Diff let's take a look at get ignore. Oh, I didn't copy the get ignore from when I restructured the folder. So vim.get ignore. It should just I just want it to ignore bin. What else is get status? Well, for now, everything else looks fine. Bin client. Oh, get make clean. So we've deleted the bins. Okay, they should have never been there to begin with. Someday when I'm feeling ambitious, I'll go remember how to remove them from the repo. Modify client, blah, blah, blah. Now they're not big enough to matter, actually. Okay, so get make clean, make all. Everything builds, no errors. I actually don't care very much. We didn't actually do anything to cause it to use that code, so add queue. Okay, we didn't do anything with it. We'll eventually write some tests around it. I do know, well, yeah, I guess that's all to say for that. And I will see you in the next video.